this student does have an abstract. Now, all of you in this class will have the opportunity to make an abstract and turn it in next week for a significant amount of extra credit. We'll get to that a little later in the last video. The student also decided to put an acknowledgements page in here. Great, that's good. And now let's get right into the introduction. So as you see in this introduction, it's titled Introduction. She named the introduction after that. And then if we scroll down really quickly, looking at her other headings, we see that she has a two-part introduction. This is the first part. This is the second part before she gets into her CSC sections. Now this is a pretty short introduction. A lot of times I have students write 2 or even 3 pages for their introduction, especially if they're doing a heavy amount of good solid background information. So this is where that is lacking. This could have been a little bit heavier on setting the stage for her argument. And then if we scroll down really quick, again, we see that her first CSC section, level 1 title to mark that first CSC section, has, it looks like, a little introduction to it, and then it has a subsection here and another subsection. So it has 2 major subsections with a little introduction. And we see her second CSC section with the main title here. And then it has an immediate subsection. Now, I don't advocate this. I always like writing in between headings. It looks weird if you have one heading and then you move on right into another heading. Usually put a little introductory paragraph or even a couple sentences there so it separates it a bit. And also it's good to set the stage for what your 2 subsections are if you're going to have subsections. It doesn't make any sense to not set the stage for why you have them, what they are. So looks like this second CSC has 1 subsection, 2 subsections, 3 subsections, and then we move on to the conclusion of her paper. So this is the first thing I do when I open your papers. I look at the general layout of it. I like to know what's coming. So do other readers. People who read a lot of this stuff, we like to know what it's going to look like. As you notice, this paper is a bit short, but really concise writer. So concise in a good way, meaning she said it all, could have had longer background information. That would have added a page or 2. So then we see her works cited starts on page 9, and this was the old way of doing things where you did not have to include the URL and access date. So those are missing from this, but you must have them. And as I scroll through her sources here, I count 25. So she has 25 citations. That's pretty well researched for an 11 to 12 page paper, and hers is even shorter. So all right, so let's go to that first introductory section. In 2016, the video game industry reached a total global market of 99.6. Good hook. In 2015, the Entertainment Software Association released a report announcing that nearly half of Americans play video games regularly. Whoa, double hook. Double hook, baby. Pink games are games that were originally catered towards women, created by women, or had more feminine aspects at the time video games were more binarily gendered, such as Barbie Designer or Miss Pac-Man. So this is a definition. She's doing the definition of pink games right in the introduction. Awesome. She could have also used a footnote to make that happen. We learned about footnotes last week and the week before. The featured aspects of these games can be found in most video games of this technological era. Okay, so that's like a little introduction to her thesis. Pink games have covertly influenced basic gameplay and design of most popular video games. That's her thesis statement, very clear. The influence of pink games. Now she's going to dive into some background. The discussion and research of this topic was incited largely by Justine Castell. Now, if you remember this, now we won't reread it, because this was all the information she included in her paper 4. So she included kind of a research summary here as background information, and you can do that. You can put a research summary included about in the background information section in the introduction, because doesn't that make sense? Give your reader an overview of all the research that's been done out there, and that gives them a sense of where your thesis is landing in all that research, what side you're on. So you can do that. I would have liked to seen some more answers to the who, what, when, where, why questions here outside of the analyzing of the research itself, but actually the topic, like talk about video games more, talk about pink games, talk about how many women work in the industry. I would have liked to have seen some more setting up of that, but we don't have that here. So the only thing we're missing then from this really concise intro is her claims, which are right here. While I maintain that overtly stereotypical feminine video games are not very prevalent, their impact lies in the popularization of plot-based style and casual style video games, as well as the advanced progress of human-computer interaction and gameplay. Awesome. Clear, clear, clear. Little shorts, but clear. Great headings. I'm looking for your headings. Make sure you have an introduction. Of course, you can always divide your introduction into subsections. So this is a good example of a final research paper introduction. Could be longer.